Hi, welcome to the third lecture on the astrology series from planetcombo.com. Okay. In this video, we will cover uh, two important aspects of how to approach astrology as a science. Okay. So one is the philosophical aspect of astrology. Second is there are some facts and myths that all of you should have aware being practiced in traditional Indian astrology, which we will also discuss and see how it is applicable going forward. Okay. So when I say philosophy, uh, there are two approaches based on the years of research we have done. There are two approaches, two mindsets that you can have as far as astrology science is concerned. One is that if astrology science is right, okay, assuming that's the basis, right, then life is predetermined. Okay, so what do you do when event happens in your life? It's all predetermined. Okay, it's all pre-written. Storyboard is already there. We're just living the life. Okay, that is the first thing, right? If this is true, and which is true in my expressed opinion based on the years of research we have done, where is the what is the role of human will? Okay, because uh, the modern philosophers uh, have been working on the mind theory. Okay, tuning the mind, calming the mind, generating the human emotional intelligence to make things happen and to live your life, right? Uh, my expressed view is that if somebody shows a will, then that is also predetermined. Okay, it should show in the particular chart. Okay, so I would approach human life as it's predetermined, it's pre-written, and your ups and downs are nothing to do with what you achieve or what you don't achieve. This is due to what are the predetermined stories. So this is the first theory that we need to reflect on. I'm sure that as starters or students of astrology, this is something very difficult to accept and understand. But as you start practicing the CP methodology, you will come to the realization that life is predetermined. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing is around uh, when you we are all learned or know in our early during religious scriptures that there is theories of multiple birth, right? Now planetcombo.com has not researched this, so my views are and my whatever views I'm expressing now is not fully researched. There is no way to research this at this point of time, but what the traditional philosophical view of birth is that you hop from one birth to the other birth, the next birth, and then each birth you take a different form, and finally you become a human in the final form, right? And then you reach salvation. Okay, this is what, in simple terms, the theories of multiple birth, right? And then as a part of the theories of multiple birth, there is a view of karma. Okay, which is it's a very common understanding that people who do positive things, they carry forward to the next life. So in this case, Y will be better than X. Similar with the negative case, then it might even affect in this life or it might affect next life, then Y will be less than X. Okay, this is a very simple theory that we've been following all along, right? Now, how do we reconcile this with predetermination? So this is what the catch-22 is, right? If we say, based on our scientific research and mathematical research, how it works, uh, astrological science is predetermined for a particular person. So let's say in this particular life, somebody is determined to be a bad person. Okay. Now, by the theory of multiple birth, because he's going to get a lot of negatives, next birth also will be a bad birth, correct? But basically means this goes against predetermination, because what you do, the deeds you do, and the deeds you don't do in a particular life is based on will, right? So if you say life is predetermined, then the theory of karma and the multiple birth theory, and you carry forward the karma from one to the other, needs to be debated, discussed, and better understood. So that is the second thing, right? Which probably will be at odds with the predetermination theory. Okay. The third one is, if if you look at the traditional Indian astrology, uh, they are based on, you know, uh, uh, so you have a chart. Okay, a chart is based on, in Indian astrology, uh, chart is based on, somebody needs to supply the place of birth, the date of birth, and the time. Then here you get a chart, right? You get an immediate chart. You will get this is I'm just drawing a very traditional chart, and you'll get this chart, right? This is what you'll get. And this will determine your events. This is the basics of astrology, right? Now, in traditional Indian astrology, when they started predicting based on the chart, two important concepts came into the picture. One is called yogam, one is called dosham. So in Sanskrit, both means, yoga means positive, dosham means negative, right? This is what it means. So somebody will say, if, just as an example, right? If moon and Jupiter are in conjunction in one house, then this is a positive sign. Okay. If you have Mars in the seventh house, okay, this is called Mangal Dosha. Now, this is a serious social issue. Even I see in most of the families, who actually rely on astrology for matchmaking, right? They will always match two charts where, both the charts have got Mangal Dosha, right? Now, the other one that comes in is, is uh, let's say somebody has got a dosha chart, okay? Can I do some yoga or some yagams? Can I do some pujas to rectify it, right? So it's called nivarti, right? Rectify the issues. Now, if going by predetermined theory, you cannot roll back a predetermination. So in my view, this is not applicable to CP astrology. So if it's predetermined, there's no nivati. You got to live with it. You got to lead your life, good or bad. You need to, uh, accept it and then move on, right? And even the yogam and doshams are based on planetary characteristics, planetary positions, but in the CP methodology, it's purely based on mathematics, right? So I would say that this is also not applicable in CP astrology. Now, this will be a huge, needs a major social buy-in, because traditionally all families are used to Indian Vedic astrology. They believe in yogam, they believe in dosham, and in dosham they believe in nivati. So I think it'll be a long journey to understand, to get them to believe in the new methodology. But as early students, as new students, if it's predetermined, then there is no nivati. And since CP astrology is not based on mathematical models, so basically we'll be able to prove that if it works for a person A, the same theory will work for a person B. And it doesn't matter, where he is born, where he is not born, which planet is in which position. Then yogam and doshams are also, yogam and doshams are also of secondary belief, right? So in CP astrology, let's not focus on that. Let's focus on the mathematical models and try to improve the predictions. And if mathematics says that this event will happen, then that event will happen. If it doesn't say it will happen, then it will not happen. That's the way to go. So I thought it's important to cover this aspects of theory, the philosophical theories of astrology. So we covered the fate, or called destiny, versus will. We covered the theory of karma. We covered doshams. We covered yogam and nivritti. Okay. Now, the then what is the real answer, and how do you explain the human life? How do you explain, somebody living a good life today and somebody living a bad life the next life, and then good life again, right? So I think there is no answer. There is no answer. One answer might be, and as we go into this series and we have frequent interactions, one answer might be the theory of random distribution. I call it the theory of random boarding. So I think there is a train here, in simple terms, and there are multiple wagons. The train is continuously moving, and people who die, they come and wait in a queue, and they just go into whichever wagon is available, and nobody knows how this distribution happens, right? This is one theory. It's quite possible. This explains how, because of the random distribution, it explains how if you've done a plus thing in this life, you might even have a negative in the next life. Who knows? Okay. So this theory, I think we haven't spent much time, but this requires, the study of this requires, it's virtually impossible given the techniques I got today to predict how this life gets distributed across uh, multiple births. I think there is, the theory of multiple births is true, but the theory of karma might be untrue. Okay, and similarly, predetermination is true in my expressed opinion, but dosham, yogam, nivritti do not stand in line with the mathematical model. So this gives you a flavor. How do you have a mindset of learning this astrology, the CP astrology? And this will stand in good stead when you have future conversations and even internal debates within you and your families on how to approach life. If this is the case, right, what is the use of astrology? Okay. What is the use? Okay. Now, if somebody is having a problem in life, right, and you're the astrologer, and you say that this is going to happen, right? This bad event is going to happen. You cannot change it because it's predetermined. Your job is not to change this person's life. Your job is to inform this person objectively that these events might happen, it might not happen. Of course, we need to follow the social etiquettes in relaying bad news, and normally people will not have any hesitancy in relaying the good news, right? If we inform, the impact of this information that you give to people will be twofold. It can be either a positive or it's negative news. Positive, generally, people take it very well. If it is negative, then uh, they will try to reverse this, right? In our theory, it cannot be reversed. So if they come to you for a nivritti, you'll have to say, pariharam can't be done. Okay, event will happen, so live with it. That'll be your answer, right? They might go into stress, and they might go into depression. There'll be social impacts, which as astrologer we need to understand. Okay, how do we handle this is something that we'll cover over a period of time. But the fundamental use of astrology is to enable the chart owner with information to controlled mind. Awareness gives you better control. That is the basic use of astrology as far as I'm concerned. Okay. So as practitioners, as time goes on, we learn these techniques, how to handle it, how to handle customers, and how do you take them along. Okay. So we have come to the end of this lecture series, a very important lecture on theories, which debunks some of the theories of doshas, yogas, facts, myths. All these are new methodologies. It will take a very, very long time for people to follow. But at least as starting beginners, you should understand where this lecture series will take you. Okay. So thank you very much and see you in the next video.